at the same time as if I just came out to play. So the book is in the truck. But I was gonna share some of them pages, but next time I'm gonna share some tomorrow, bro. Yeah, yeah, that's a powerful book though. It opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. It just the way you wrote, the way you written it was like on a professional and in depth. You hit every point, like from childhood, from learning from parents, that area with learning from parents. The things you bring into your marriage. It just it's so many areas.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so
No
much
problem.
for sharing. So I want to share with everyone that one of the things that we're doing is we definitely want to hear from you. So we have a form that I'd love for you to fill out and just share about kind of your takeaways at the end of the night, and then also a review. We'd love to, get your feedback, guys. So we'll drop those links so you can kind of share your feedback. And for everyone that fills out the form, does the review, then we're going to be sharing a free copy of Marital Peace. So we'll be sending an ebook copy of Marital Peace for everyone who kind of stays on to the end and completes the review form. Okay. All right, y'all. So I'm going to read the homework. So this is the heart of the challenge, the space where you can bring your thoughts, your questions, your emotions, and your breakthroughs. Every single night, we're going to unpack the day's prompt together so that we can go deeper. You can stay supported. And just know that you're not doing this alone. Because I know marriage sometimes is not easy, especially when you have been together for a while and you face a challenge. Sometimes it can feel like, well, where do I go with this? Like, who do I share this with? Can I deal with this? And so just having a space where you can kind of talk through what's going on, I think is so, so, so important. So that's what we're here to do tonight. Now, day two's prompt, what to expect. Pause before you react. This is so powerful because sometimes when your spouse is talking, I know for me and being married and also being a couples therapist, I know sometimes when your spouse is talking, sometimes we want to jump in and share what we think, or we already know what they're going to say. So we were ready to respond. So the challenge in this prompt was to say, no, I'm not going to react. I'm going to just really slow myself down and really hear what my spouse is saying. Okay. So that's really, if you haven't done homework, that's the homework. That's what I want you to do tonight. If you haven't done it, it's just really take some time to pause before you respond. So you want to give your spouse space to speak, share their thoughts, and really slow yourself down. Has anybody ever struggled with that before? Like, your spouse is talking, and you like, as soon as he stop, as soon as she shut up, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna say what I got to say, just as soon as they pause. Anybody ever felt that way before? Okay, just me. I'm the only one. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Miriam, raise her hand. Okay, all right. Appreciate y'all. We're gonna be real tonight, totally real, because that is really where our breakthrough lives. Our breakthrough lives in that space where we are totally open with ourselves, honest with ourselves, transparent with ourselves. That's how we get a real breakthrough. Okay, so the question is, what do I feel when I don't feel seen or heard? What am I experiencing in that moment? And what helps me feel safe enough to share? Hey MJ, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the party, MJ. How you feeling?
Oh, doing good. How you doing?
Good. So share with us, like, what was it like for you having this moment, to pause before you respond, and also thinking about like what you need to feel safe. What came up for you there?
Um, the pausing, I think, is a great tool. Just get your thoughts, make sure you don't say the wrong thing and offend or do something in that manner. What I need to feel safe is just, I think, non-judgment, making sure that I can speak, and speak my truth and say what I need to say and have it be my words. And I think a lot of times, I feel like I'm saying one thing and then my husband's hearing something completely different. And I'm like, that's not what I said. So I think just being able to articulate myself, use the words that I'm feeling in that moment is what I need to feel safe.
That's good. That's good. So a non-judgmental stance from your spouse helps you to like feel comfortable and safe to open up. Is that right?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for sharing. Um, sometimes, well, a big part of communication is nonverbal. So I think, what I want everybody to be aware of is sometimes it's not just what you say, but it's how you say it. And you may be feeling like, well, I wasn't judging him, I wasn't judging her, but we got to check our facial expression, our eye contact, our gestures. All of that can be communicating a message even if like your words are not necessarily saying that. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. Thank you for sharing, Miriam. Um, David, how about for you? What came up for you for the challenge today? So it was what helps me feel safe enough to share? What do I feel when I don't feel seen or heard? Slowing yourself down.
Uh, I guess a little bit for me, just like yesterday, is you don't feel seen or heard if I can't be able to get my point across and say what I need to say. I don't. I guess I don't ever really feel like that. To have those type feelings and things like that. So yeah, I don't really have those problems.
Okay. So, what do you think your spouse does that makes you feel safe and comfortable?
Taking the time out to listen and not only just listen, but listen to understand, and then try to do the other way around too as well.
That's good. That's good. Thank you for sharing. Because this is a two-way street. The same thing that we ask for from our spouse, we want to make sure that we're giving that same thing. So if we are asking our spouse to not lose faith in us, if we're asking our spouse to trust us, to be patient with us, to be understanding, to extend grace, then we got to ask ourselves those same questions like, am I being patient? Am I extending grace? Or am I like, well, I told you about this yesterday, so I don't want to have to keep telling you. Like, well, how am I giving what I want to receive? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. All right, all right. So, anybody else did the homework? Well, Miriam, you said that you did it yesterday, the 3 minutes. Tell me about that. How'd that go?
Okay. It's difficult because my husband tends to get off topic and starts talking about something else. He likes to ramble. So it's difficult because not only that, but when he starts speaking, he tends to say something that's incorrect or that he interpreted wrong or misconstrued or assumed. And so the conversation topic just gets goes off into something that's irrelevant and doesn't apply to what we're actually supposed to be discussing. So just to like sit in for 3 minutes and listen, and it's just like for what? Because that's not even the issue, or that's not even relevant. So sometimes I have to, when I do interrupt, it's just to, reel him back in to focus and to correct something that he got wrong. So it's pretty difficult.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing. Can anybody relate to Miriam?
Yes, that's exactly how it is. I know my husband does the same thing. He'll talk about four or five different things and kind of go from subject to subject to subject. And I'm like, well, can we address one thing and then go to another thing? And even just sitting and listening is kind of all over the place. And it's kind of like we don't get it accomplished because you jumping from thing to thing to thing instead of us focusing on one thing. And my husband's very long-winded. I don't know if we experienced that last night, but he's very long-winded.
Is he joining us tonight?
He's taking the dog out right now, but he should be coming in a few.
Okay. Um, why do y'all think that people do that? So we're talking about chicken, and then now all of a sudden we're talking about all the different versions of me. Like, Why do y'all think that people jump topics?
Deflection and to either accuse or pose blame or deflection. Those are the only two reasons I can think: deflection or to blame someone else for your actions or to have an excuse for your actions. That's the only thing I could think of.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing, Miriam. So let's go with that. So, my spouse is changing topics because they're defensive. Like it's on them, and they're like, "How can I get this heat off of me?" So let me change the subject. So based on that, how can we address that issue? One is we got to ask ourselves, are we being critical? Because sometimes when a person feels like they need to defend themselves, why do they feel like they need to defend themselves? Because they feel like they're like being criticized. So I want to give you a sentence that I think would help in those moments. Because what I'm not saying is don't address the issue. We definitely need to address the issue. We just want to address it in a way that doesn't make the other person defensive. So this is the sentence. Let me know when y'all ready. Put a one in the comments if you're ready for the sentence. Put a one in the comments when you're ready for the sentence. Robert, you ready for the sentence? Okay, all right. So you
Yeah,
sent
yeah, yeah.
David one. Okay. So this is a sentence. Shake it if you can write it down for me. When X happened, I felt Y I would like Z. When X happened, I felt Y I would like Z. When X happened, I felt Y I would like Z. Okay, so what is X? X is something specific. We cannot jump into all of the problems that ever existed. Like, let's zero in on one specific situation. That's X. Y is an emotion word. Y'all write down in the comments some emotion words. Hey, Angela, what are some emotion words? Sad, disappointed, anxious, worried, love, desired, excited, happy, joyful. So that's the why. Now Z is a recipe for success. People get this part so wrong, y'all. When we're having a conflict, a lot of times couples get this part wrong because they start talking about all the things that they don't want to happen, all of the things that frustrate them. And what I'm asking you to do instead is to instead focus on a specific, I can't emphasize this enough. A specific request that expresses a positive need. That's my XYZ method that I do with my couple. So I want us to try it out. I'm gonna ask one of the guys to work with me on this. Alton, you there? Alton, can you unmute? Alton. All right, who wants to volunteer? Can I get a volunteer tonight?
I can. What you got?
Okay, so I want you to put in the sentence the XYZ statement. So can you describe something something that happened that maybe upset you?
All right, hold on. I'm trying to think about it. Okay. When I didn't clean up, I felt angry. Uh, and I would like to not feel like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that was an excellent start. Excellent, excellent. So you described a situation, and it was a specific situation, cleaning up. And then you identified an emotion, which that is excellent. That's the key part of it. And then the Z part is tell me the the recipe for success, like what you are desiring. I would like
To not be fussed at for that.
I would like to not be fussed at for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Recipe for success. Thank you so much, David. So it's X, Y, Z. When X happened, I felt Y. I'd like Z. Alton, are you able to unmute?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm sorry. I'm just getting settled in. Um, I'm here from from Columbia, South Carolina.
Welcome, welcome,
Yeah,
welcome.
thank
So
you.
tell me, what made you sign up for the challenge?
Actually, my wife, she she signed up for the challenge and asked me to join, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
I'm glad you're here. So
Thank you.
if you can identify one thing that maybe something that upset you.
Something that upset me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think right along with what you're talking about with learning how to control your emotions without over talking each other. That's something that I can definitely say that need to work on, including myself. Just being able to um, when hot topics possibly can come up, um, not allowing your spouse to finish. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Alton. So let's put this in the XYZ statement. Let's do it together. So, um, not you said controlling your emotions and getting long-winded. That's the situation. Is that right?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
And then what's the feeling when that happens? So when I get swept up with my emotions and I get long-winded, I'm feeling what emotion would you say? Is it
Probably unheard or yeah.
okay?
Yes, absolutely. Not being heard and not realizing that both of us are probably not being heard at that moment as well
I'm glad
because
you said
I'm not
that.
listening. But I mean it's easier to talk about it, but then when the heat is on and that instant of rage, you really have to take a deep breath and kind of realize what's going on in the moment.
Yes, that really is a game changer, like knowing how to manage your emotions. And it's a skill. It really is a skill, just like what we were talking about yesterday with communication. Communication is a skill that can be learned. It's not like either I got it or I don't have it, but it's something that we can learn. So thank you so much for sharing. Let's talk about what is the desired outcome. So if you was to imagine you're talking to your spouse, Alton, and you're saying, sometimes when we were talking yesterday, um, you had kind of got long-winded, and in that moment, I started to feel down. I would like, what would you say is the desire?
What would be the desire? What do you mean, like in that moment
Mm-hmm.
of not being heard, or
Yes.
um, probably probably to pause.
Okay.
I'm thinking probably to pause in that moment, if
Okay.
I'm hearing you
And
correctly.
let's go a little bit deeper. So what would a pause look like? Is a pause as like I'm going to the gym, or is a pause like we're taking a break in the conversation, or is it um like what does a pause look like? Are we still present
Uh,
with each other, or are we totally like in different rooms, like in an ideal
well,
situation?
well, in my um, I would rather take a pause from the conversation if the conversation is not going well. I would want, but then that could be viewed by the other party as not wanting to have the conversation. If we're talking about, planning, I don't know, planning anything or doing something, and things kind of went left. And I'm like, well, you know what? Let's pick this conversation up later. Then, that could be viewed as me not wanting to have it. And then that's when things seems to me that get kind of um, not communicated well because, I would want to take a break if I'm making sense with what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I don't know if you was on yesterday, but this was one of the things that we talked about yesterday, like how to
Right.
take a break. Were you on yesterday?
Yes. Yes. I missed the first part, but I came in on the second tail end.
Okay. So one of the things that I shared is there are times in conflict when we need to take a break. Like if we continue the dialogue, then someone's going to say something that doesn't come out the right way. Our tone is going to be off. Like sometimes it is crucially important that we take a break for the conversation to maintain a healthy, respectful, loving approach. But we have to be mindful of how we take a break. Because if I just walk away and I say, I'm done with this conversation, Allison, I'm not talking about this no more. How would that how would that leave the other person feeling? What do you think?
I mean, absolutely. It would make them feel, you're saying, it would make them feel like, I would have to be held accountable to wanting to continue the conversation. And I do understand that if I'm saying, well, hey, let's pick this up later. And if it was already a contentious thing from the beginning, if we're talking about, can your mother-in-law stay for the weekend? And you're like, oh man, and then it goes left, and then you say, well, let's talk about it later, then that's going to be perceived as I don't really want to talk about it anyway because I really don't want her to stay. So you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that can kind of snowball into something where, we can talk about it and say, well, she can stay, and we'll just discuss it in a
Mhm.
more calmer manner instead of messing up everybody's weekend and making it an intense environment. And then when she gets here, we're kind of tense or I'm kind of standoffish and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Excellent point. So there are times that we need to take a break, but we got to be mindful of how we take that break. And the other thing that I would share is like make sure that we set a time for coming back to the issue. If you really are feeling like overwhelmed or flooded in your body, like your heart is racing, then that's probably a time that it is important to take a break. But I want you to set a time for when you're going to come back to
got
talk
you.
about it. Okay. So let's put this all
Makes
together
sense.
in our XYZ statement. So when we are talking and I don't feel heard, it makes me feel what emotion would you say? Give me the feeling again. What's the feeling?
I'm sorry, my wife was trying to log in, just having some
Oh, okay.
issues. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's make sure we take care of her, get her logged in. So when we are talking and I'm not feeling heard, um, I feel what emotion? I feel sad, disappointed, anxious, irritable.
Yeah, I would say irritable. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel irritated. I'd like for us to be able to take a pause. And I'm not saying that pause is going to be forever, but if I could get an hour to just take a break, go for a walk, go for a run, that would make a world of difference. So that's how we will put the XYZ statement together in a real way, in a real situation. So thank you so much, Alton, for like being open to walk this out. And I hope that she'll use this phrase because I never want couples to avoid conflict because conflict actually can be the breakthrough for transformation to happen. But I wanted to give you guys some tools, some strategies on how you can address issues in a way that doesn't make the other person feel attacked and get defensive. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So did anybody else do the homework? Veronica, did you do the homework?
I did not get an opportunity to even log in yesterday because I worked yesterday evening and I did not realize. I was like, once I realized it, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss it. So he just kind of, came in on the both for the both of us. So I wasn't aware of any homework because I wasn't on
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay, no worries. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it to you. So take a moment, slow yourself down, and ask yourself, what do I feel when I don't feel seen or heard? What helps me feel safe enough to share? So when you think about like safety, and when we're talking about safety, we're not talking about like a physical safety, but more emotional safety. What are some things that come up for you when you imagine what is needed to feel safe?
Um, to be heard, to be understood. Um, yeah, I would say that those would be probably my top two.
Okay. And then what do you imagine your spouse will be doing that would let you know that they hear you?
Just to be engaged in the conversation, like just undivided attention, or to, be focused, present in the conversation.
That's good. So maybe phones away, like technology away,
Absolutely. Yeah.
television off,
Phones
like
away. Just, yeah, absolutely. And then just to be able to, you know, whatever it is that I'm expressing, for him to be able to relay that back to me so that I know that he understands what I'm communicating versus just listening. I think that for it to be an understanding is very important.
it is. It is very important. So, I love the specifics that you share. The problem that a lot of couples have is they just hope that the other person knows what they need, even though
Mhm.
they may not clearly and specifically articulate what that need is. And so
Right.
we got to get away from that. One of the things that I want everyone to have as a takeaway from our meeting tonight is if there's a need that I have to share it and I have to be clear and specific when I share it. So some of the
Mhm.
things that you said is you want to feel heard and understood. And then as we
Mhm.
start going deeper, you said, okay, having undivided attention, having
Mhm.
technology away. Like those things help you to feel heard and understood. And it also sounds like there's an element of them being able to reflect it back. When they can say it back to you, when your spouse could say, like, okay, this is what I'm hearing you say. Is that right? Then that helps you
Okay.
feel like,
Mhm.
okay, you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
That's really good, Veronica. And this is one of the things that we teach on in our mastermind, our couples mastermind. We teach on how to feel heard, how to feel understood, and how to communicate in a way that is effective. So if we was to dive deeper and we was to apply what you said and put it in the XYZ statement, let's try that. So when I have your undivided attention,
Mhm.
when technology is away, when you can relay back to me what I'm saying, then that makes me feel what emotion?
Oh my gosh. Happy.
It makes
It
me
makes me,
happy.
it makes me happy because then it makes me feel like the things that I'm communicating to you, like not only did you hear it, you understood it and put it into action and cared enough to make whatever adjustments that needs to be made, or that I'm worth enough, for you to even, respect what it is that I'm saying and asking. And then if you apply it, oh my God, that's like next level stuff there. But it would make me happy.
I love it. I love it. So
Mhm.
when I have your undivided attention, when you can relay back to me like what I'm saying and it is spot on, like when technology is away, then I feel happy,
And
right? And
prioritize.
then and prioritize.
Mhm.
And so let's go to the next section of the sentence is I would like. So I would like to feel like a priority in this marriage. And the way that you do this is by this, and this. So I would like to know that I matter to you, right? And so when you focus on you, like what you need, what you desire, and how it makes you feel, then the other person is not going to feel attacked. It's
Mhm.
when we say, well, you always and you never, and I'm so tired of, like, when we bring that energy, then they feel on the attack, they get defensive, and then now they're bringing up things that we do. And you're like, wait, how did we switch this? And
Right.
so by you saying it this way, it helps your spouse not get defensive and really hear the heart of what you're saying. Which the heart of what you're saying, of course, your spouse will want that, like for you to feel heard and for you to feel understood. And so you
Mhm.
laying it out for them in a way that is meaningful and specific, then it allows them not to get defensive.
Mhm.
So you want to share this with your spouse today?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. So let's say tomorrow when you come back, you're gonna be able to say, Dr. Laura, I said it in that way, like I was clear, I was specific, and this is how it went. Let's say that you'll update us.
Okay.
Yes? All
Yes.
right. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. So, guys, the homework is take a moment, slow down, ask yourself, what helps me feel safe enough to share? So now I want to open it up for questions. So this is a time for you to get your question answered. It could be a question about the homework, or it could be a question about any relationship challenge. What questions do y'all have for me? And let me just check the chat. Okay, a question came from Facebook. And guys, we are recording, so just make sure that whatever you share is something you feel comfortable sharing because we are recording. All right, so questions from Facebook. When one of us doesn't feel seen or heard, what are healthy ways to communicate that without sounding like blame or criticism? How many of us can relate to this one? Not feeling seen, not feeling heard. And sometimes when we don't feel seen and we don't feel heard, it can be easy for us to step into that place of blame. Well, you did. Were you always and criticize the other person? And it can be very easy to step into that space. So thank you so much for this question. This is a great, great, great question. So when one of us doesn't feel seen or heard, what are healthy ways to communicate without sounding like I'm criticizing? So one thing is definitely use the XYZ statement. When X happened, I feel Y, I would like Z. The other thing is to avoid you statements. Can somebody put that in the chat for me? No you statements, only I statements. I feel, I'd like, I love when, I appreciate when. That's the language that we want to use. What is your desired outcome? Avoid always and avoid never. We're going to use these two words like there are trigger words, like they are four-letter words that we don't use. Always and never. Because think about it. Like when you hear someone say, you always and you never, like it just automatically makes you want to go into defense mode. And you don't want your spouse to be in defense mode when you're talking to them. So that's my advice. All right. What other questions do we have? Thank you guys so much for putting this in the chat. All right. Any other questions? And guys, feel free to unmute if you have a question. So how do we find time for each other with the kids' work and just schedules? Okay, great question, David. So there is a resource that I talk about in much more detail than I can tonight, inside our Fix My Marriage Mastermind. And that is okay, Robert said I started to pick a date night. Okay. So that is called the 5 magical hours. This is something that I teach on in our 1 year program, our mastermind. So write this down, 5 magical hours. You can go to Google now and put in 5 magical hours, John Gottman PDF. And team, if y'all can put the link in the chat, 5 magical hours, John Gottman PDF. So once you put this in Google, then it's going to be a document that comes up. And this document is gold, y'all. This document, it really breaks down your exact question, which is how can we maintain our connection when we're short on time? So I'm going to break down all of the components of the 5 magical hours, but I definitely want you to look it up. So if you can tell me in the chat, I got it once you've looked it up. So what you're putting, oh, thank you so much, team. So the team put it in the chat for you guys. Go ahead and copy that link because it's going to break down what I'm about to go over. That's going to be a game changer for everybody. All right. So 5 magical hours. The first part is parting. Somebody write down in the chat partings. Partings is at the beginning of the day. 2 minutes per workday where we're just checking in with each other about what we have going on that day. Bonus points if you have some emotion to it. So I'm excited. I have this big meeting today. I'm kind of anxious. I got a new supervisor. Um, I miss, our connection. I'm hoping that we can have some loving time tonight, right? So whatever the thing is that's going on that day, what you're looking forward to, that's partings. If you got it, say I got it. Any questions about partings? Now, reunions. Reunions is at the end of the day. 20 minutes Monday through Friday is our reunion time where it's knee to knee, eyeball to eyeball. We're giving each other our undivided attention. 20 minutes Monday through Friday. This is a part of the 5 magical hours. This is the time to check in about how did the day go? What was your high for the day? What was your low for the day? The document breaks this all down for you in a very neat chart. The other thing is affirmation. Somebody write down in the chart, affirm each other. This is so important because sometimes when we're in conflict, we take each other for granted. Like, all right, you made the chicken, so what? Okay, you took the trash out, so what? No, we're not bringing that energy to our marriage. No, we are going to compliment each other. Thank you so much for opening that door. I appreciate you for taking the trash out. That's one less thing I got to worry about. I appreciate it. You really looking good in your sweater. You looking real nice. Like, say something that affirms your spouse every single day. It could be one of 3 things. It could be their personality. You're very hardworking. You're a thoughtful person. It could be a behavior. They got you your favorite chocolate. I appreciate you for buying that Snickers today. I was hungry. Thank you. Or it could be personality, behavior, or physical features. Okay. Everybody gonna do this every day. Share something that you appreciate about your spouse every day. We need this. This is very important. All right. So physical touch, that's the 4th one. Every single day, at least 5 minutes of physical touch. This could be kissing, touching, playfulness, caress, like sleeping on the sofa together, like whatever, but some affection daily. Can somebody write this in the chat? 5 minutes affection daily, at least 5 minutes. I'm not talking about, okay, bye, honey. No, at least 5 minutes. And this is impactful to your body chemistry, meaning there are positive hormones that are released in the body when we have physical affection. So it's really important. It's really important. I don't want you to skip this one. Now, the 5th one, write a 5 in the comments if you're ready for the 5th one. Okay, somebody already put it. Okay, physical touch. Okay, the 5th one is date night. Date night. At least one date night once a week. I know some of my couples have kids, so we get real creative with the date night. Sometimes we're like, okay, we're gonna do a date night in. Make a palette, watch a nice movie, get some popcorn. But I don't want you to do that every single week. Some of these weeks, let's try to get out the house. Let's go for a walk. Let's go on a picnic. Let's go for ice cream. It's not about you spending a lot of money. It's more about the connection time. So 2 hours, alone time, just you and your spouse. So that's for the person who asked the question, what can I do to have quality time with a busy schedule? That's how you can make quality time work even with a busy schedule. Thank you so much, David, for your question. You blessed the whole room from your question. I wasn't even planning on talking about that tonight. So thank you for asking that question. All right. Greetings. I have started picking a date night like Saturday and paying for a babysitter for the night. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that, Robert. Who else can relate to David where you're like, okay, how can we get some quality time in here when we have a busy schedule? Who else can relate to that question? I think that's something that we all can relate to. And dates are so important. It's hard to have great physical intimacy if we're not spending time together. And it's crazy because like we expect that there to be fireworks in the bedroom when we may have not talked to each other all day. So it's important that we do these small things on a day-to-day basis to make deposits into the marriage. All right, let me see, what other questions do you guys have? If y'all don't have any other questions, we'll close out early. What other questions do you have? What are some small consistent actions that help foster emotional safety over time? Small, consistent actions are noticing your spouse, noticing the positive changes that they're making, noticing the effort that they're putting in, and articulating that to them, like saying it out loud. Like, I appreciate you for handling the bedtime routine. That really made a difference for me. So notice the small things that they do that makes your life easier. Thank you so much for washing the clothes. I'm glad that, we got clean undergarments. I appreciate that. So I want you to be mindful of that. That's a great question. All right. What other questions do you guys have? I think there was a question, Shaka, from yesterday. Was there MJ? What's up? Marvin? Yeah, go ahead and unmute. Go ahead and unmute for me.
Yeah, like she wanted to put.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on, I got it. So I see what she got to know. She
okay.
got guys. I was out there working with the dog, and I got caught up in another conversation out there, concerning this dog on HOA stuff. But let me she said avoid you statements. Don't say always or never. So what do you mean by always or never?
Okay, great question. So, we were talking about like how sometimes we can get defensive, like when your spouse is saying something, sometimes there's something that raises up in us that makes us want to defend our position. And so I was saying that when you use the words always and never, like saying, well, you always do this, or you don't never do that, then it makes the other person want to defend themselves. And that defensiveness can come up as cross complaining. And when I say cross complaining, what I mean is, well, you did it last week. Well, I do it sometimes, right? So, in order to avoid all of the cross complaining and the defensiveness, let's avoid always and never, because that triggers defensiveness.
That's
Or what happened with the homework? You did the homework?
I did the homework. We did it last night. And today, I think she tried it on me last night. So when we was in the car today, she said something I didn't want to get into, or I was talking. I say, "What? Let's apply the 3 minute rule."
All right. How did it go?
I was being funny with her to cut her off, so so I can continue on talking for the 3 minutes. But I think it was about the pause. Uh, yesterday evening, no, today or yesterday was yesterday today.
Which one?
Yesterday. So she tried it. We actually tried it. It was last night. Matter of fact, yeah, it was last night. Late last night, after we got off, and we actually stayed. We stayed in the kitchen for a minute and just talked after everything was cleaned up, and we talked for a minute. Yeah, and I could see she was really restraining her mouth. She was really holding it. And I'm being funny though, but she actually really I actually applied it and it helped me out. And I noticed that her vibe, it set the tone for me feeling safe in that space to talk with her about something, and to talk with her and to not feel that I'm being judged by what I'm saying or how I'm saying it. And I can just flow. You know what I'm saying? And she always talks about, she said, well, you don't talk to me. Oh, man, my bad. Well, we talk. She would say that you don't talk to me like you talk to your homeboys. I said, I'm a homeboy. They don't stay with me. I'm married to you. We married. We stay
It's a
together.
relationship.
Yeah, it's the relationship. And I said, but you not them. You know, you my wife. I love you. We different. You know, and so I think I got we tried that last night. That pausing, it helps out. And me, I'm looking at me. Let me tell you about me. And I'm learning to. Yeah, I am long winded. Yeah, yeah. And I'm learning to to set the tone for myself that in order to the tone can be right for us for her, you know, and to let her know that I'm very appreciative of her presence, you know,
That's
and
good.
I'm appreciative of her presence, and because all she wants to do, that I'm realizing that she wants to be heard, you know, authentically and genuinely, you know. That's what I'm working on right now, you know.
That's excellent. I love it. I love it. So, some of the things that you said that really stood out to me is that it makes you feel safe when your wife kind of restrains a bit. Like you could tell she was holding back a little bit. And that's good because we don't want to just totally let out on our spouse. Like we want to be mindful of, like, I know they have something to say. I want to give them space to share their feelings, share their thoughts. And so sometimes that means I suspend my feelings for a moment just to give them space to get out how they're feeling. And when they stop talking, I don't just jump right in and share everything that I want to say, but I still kind of process what they're saying. So it sounds like that's what you're saying helps you feel safe when y'all are communicating. So that's good. You also mentioned tone and really appreciating her presence. So that's good. That's a part of the 5 magical hours that we talked about earlier. Is one part is affirming each other. So sharing with each other the things that you appreciate and you love about one another. When we look at the research shows that couples need at least 5 times as much positive interaction to counter any one criticism. So if I criticize my spouse, I need to have 5 times as much loving things to say to them just for it to feel good, right? I want y'all to really take that in because sometimes you may find that you've been criticizing all day and then you're like, well, why can't we, have some loving time? It's because they're unhappy and they feel sad now because all of the criticism. 5 times as much positive words, loving words, encouraging words, appreciative words to counter any one criticism. Makes sense? All right. Okay. That's good. Now go off and apply it. Okay. So guys, I want to see any other questions before we close. Any final questions? Okay, so we're gonna put some things in the chat for you. We're gonna put our Google page in the chat, and if you can leave us a review of what you thought of the session tonight, and then we also have a form that we'd like for you to complete so that we can get some feedback there as well. For everyone who completes the form, just send us an email and we will email you an electronic copy of my book, Marital Peace. If you go to Amazon, my book, Marital Peace, it is $29.99 on Amazon. But like I said, if you leave us a review, fill out the form, we'll send you an electronic copy of the book completely for free. So would love your feedback. How many of you guys thought this was helpful tonight? Okay, Robert has his book. Shout out to Robert. And you've been reading it, and I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, I be reading it everywhere. It's deep, it's powerful. Y'all gotta get it. Y'all gotta get it.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. What's been some of your takeaways?
I was confirmation, a lot of confirmation what I've been doing because what happened in the meantime when I wasn't in the group, I had met a older couple at my church, and they been married 40 years, and they marriage counsel, free marriage counsel. So that we been having every other Monday we sit down and chat, put up with them, and we get checked up. The man do a lot of the talking. We get checked up from him, and that's been keeping us squared away. That's from you. reading your stuff, and then the date night from them, they said it too. It's confirmation about the date night and the 5 minutes of saying the five positive things that you did, the negative. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I took all that away. And the couple right here, they they had me laughing. I said, let's do the 3 minute rule before I can finish what I had to say. He just had me laugh on that one though. Yeah, that was cool.
I appreciate y'all realness. I appreciate y'all coming in and just sharing with us like what's going on in your world in a real way. Cause I feel like that's how you really get the most out of this experience is by talking about what's going on so that you can get support. So I appreciate y'all.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any takeaways? What about for you, Veronica?
I do have a question. So this is only like a 3 night thing, like the challenge. I really didn't have. I was just like, well, is it a 3 night challenge and then that's it, or like how does it? Could you give me a little bit more insight on how often? Or
Sure, absolutely. So every night for the rest of this week, we will be going live. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of the therapists that are on my team. So tomorrow, we'll have Andrea come live, and every single night at 8 o'clock this week, we will be live answering questions based
okay,
on what was emailed to you as the homework for the challenge. And then for some of you, your next step to really be able to implement this well is going to be joining the mastermind. So the mastermind is a 1 year program. It is the Fix My Marriage mastermind. And in that, for the first 10 weeks, we work together weekly. So you'll have one-on-one sessions with me every single week. Team, I'm going to ask for you to drop the link inside the chat for anybody who already knows, like, hey, I want this. We have a limited number of spots. So we don't have like I can't work with everybody. I'm limited. It's just one of me and it's a lot of y'all. So we have a limited number of spots. But if you know right now you've heard something tonight and you felt like, yeah, I need something beyond the group work. Like I need to work with someone one on one.
okay,
Maybe there's issues around communication or intimacy or rebuilding trust. Those are some of the areas I specialize in. So the first 10 weeks is weekly sessions, then we go to bi-weekly, then we go to monthly. We also have a retreat that's included in the experience. And that retreat, we're going to Greece. I love the Greek islands. It's like one of my favorite places. So we'll go on a retreat to the Greek islands, and everything is covered in the mastermind. So it's an opportunity for you to get away and just feel refueled. Like sometimes the stresses of life could take us out. Like sometimes we just need to get away and refresh, refuel, and just really be poured back into. So that's the mastermind.
okay. And all of the information for that is going to be in the link in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Erica, were you able to post the link? I think that's the last one. If anyone didn't receive the assignments for the challenge, please drop your email. Anybody that didn't receive the assignments for the challenge, go ahead and drop your email in the chat, and my team will make sure that you get it. Okay.
Let me make sure.
And then the forms for the review, that's in the chat as well. So make sure that y'all grab that. All right. Anybody else want to share their takeaways? Angela. Hey, Angela. What were your takeaways? So, one of the reasons why I like to talk about takeaways is because it reinforces accountability, right? So, when I say, okay, one of the things that I learned is the XYZ statement. And as a result of coming on live tonight, I'm going to start using that XYZ statement. Then I'm more likely to take action on what I give voice to. When I say it out loud, like, hey, this is what I learned. Hey, I'm going to start going on a date night once a week. Hey, I'm going to start having a 20-minute check-in with my spouse Monday through Friday. Like when I say that out loud, then I'm more likely to achieve that goal. So that's why I asked you guys, what are your takeaways? This is always the reason behind my questions. All right. So anybody else want to share their takeaways? What about for you, Alton?
Yes, I really enjoyed the information tonight and being able to kind of first time really interact. And I just appreciate meeting you and look forward to, you know, tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. Are you going to use the XYZ statement?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. When X happens, I felt Y, I would
Why?
like Z. Yeah.
As a result, yeah.
So good job. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a blessed night. And we have 3 more days left of the challenge. I think y'all are going to really enjoy the therapists on my team, Andrea, Kenyatta, Miss Moore, all of the therapists I personally trained, and they are amazing. So I'm so excited to share with you guys our amazing therapists because they're really dope. All right. So have a wonderful rest of the day and check out the links for tomorrow. I'm going to go over the homework just before we close, okay? So the
I'm
homework for tomorrow. Somebody had a question?
yeah, I didn't. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I do have a question. I probably could have put it in the chat, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Go ahead.
Um,
Go ask me.
Now, for anything outside of this, do you guys accept insurance? Do y'all
We
accept?
don't.
Don't. Okay. Okay.
No, we don't. We don't. But we do provide a super bill, which is like a very detailed receipt that you can submit to your insurance company. And typically for my clients who use their insurance, they typically get 60% back. So you do pay for the service up front, but then you can get about 60% back out of network benefits. Great question. All right, guys. So for the homework for tomorrow is everybody ready? It's called Help Me Feel Safe Again. So write a letter to, you're going to write a letter to each other and you're going to share that letter with one another about what helps you feel safe. So we're writing it down. We talked about it in our first day of the challenge. We had our 3-minute conversation. If you haven't done that, I want you to definitely check that part out of the challenge, the homework from Monday. And then you're writing a letter about what makes you feel safe in a written form. So you can use any of the statements that we talked about today, like the XYZ statement. All right. Okay. Well, y'all be blessed. Have an amazing rest of the day. And for those of you who know that your next step is for us to work together one-on-one, I would absolutely love, love, love to work with you. Erica, if you can drop the link in the chat so that everyone has it. We'll also send this email out so you can take a look at it and see how we can work together beyond the challenge and one-on-one, because I think that really makes a difference. Also, what you're going to get is, in addition to us working together one-on-one, is you're going to get community. Community is so important to me because I know growing up, for me, I did not see a lot of married couples. So when I was working on becoming a good spouse, I didn't have a lot of examples in my family. My grandparents were divorced, my parents, aunts, uncles, everybody was divorced. And so for me, it was a bit of a challenge, like transitioning into marriage. And so what helps me with that was community, having a community. And so I built Black Marriage Matters from that standpoint. And I realized that we needed to go deeper and have a smaller community because Black Marriage Matters is like 65,000 people. But for you to really have change, transformation in your life, community makes a difference in that. So we include that in the mastermind. We include community. We include sessions like this once a month where we're able to come together, talk through what's going on, get some real life right there in the moment feedback, just like we did. I think somebody asked the question of like, well, what do I do if I don't have a lot of time, but I do want to have quality time with my spouse? So the same way, like we went through the 5 magical hours within the Fix My Marriage mastermind, we have days like this every single month where we're coming together, we're talking through solutions, we're getting real strategy on how to overcome challenges in marriage. Because it does get hard. It gets challenging sometimes. And you need somebody to love on you and say, like, hey, boo, you gonna get through this. You will get through this. And let me show you how. All right. So y'all have an amazing rest of the night, and make sure you check out the each for the rest of the days in the challenge going live at 8 o'clock. All right, all right. Shaker, play us some going out music. Right, we'll see y'all tomorrow, 8 p.m.
Great. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure. Hope you will consider joining the mastermind. I'd love to work with you.
Have a good night.
All right, good night. Good night, everyone. Y'all are in for a treat tomorrow. It's gonna be so good. All right, guys. Erica, Shaker, let me know once we are off live.
Yeah, the live is off now.
Okay. All right. What y'all think?
I love it. Like it's really nice hearing from you. Sorry. Yeah, I
No,
agree.
ignoring the couples. It was
Say
very
hi.
interactive.
Say hi.
Bye.
It was so nice. I guess I guess what I need to ask is maybe how do we like just inform Andrea that these are the things that we have discussed, so like she has like a continuity for tomorrow's session, because some some people that have joined mentioned that they're gonna do their assignment and then you know share their feedback for tomorrow. So just so in case they will ask about that, and Andrea will have at least an idea that these are the things that were discussed tonight. So yeah.
Maybe could we send everybody on the team an email and just say like, hey, this is kind of overview of the challenge. Make sure that you check in with people about their homework and ask them if they completed it. Make sure that you read the homework at the beginning of the Zoom. And anything else you think? Oh, the review. Make sure you tell people to give a review. I think those are the main things. Did I miss anything?
The Google.
Yeah, no. The Google review, check. The form, Google form,
Yeah.
check. Yeah.
Okay. So Erica, I think if you could send an email to Andrea, just kind of letting her know these are the things that we want to make sure that she goes over. And I think what she wants to talk about is dating. Like she wants to talk about dating your spouse. So I say you can she can incorporate that within the topic. You know how like I'm reading what the homework is, but then I'm ad-libbing a little bit too. Like I'm sharing other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the other things that she's gonna share is she'll talk about dating your spouse.
Okay. All right. And yeah, I'll send her an email tomorrow morning, and then I'll maybe ask. I don't know if you have her WhatsApp number, Sheikha, so maybe I'll just add her contact as well, just in case if you have any last minute questions for tonight's challenge. So yeah.
Okay. And then let's I like what you did, Shaker, with taking snippets from the takeaways. I wonder if we
Mm-hmm.
could do that like for tonight as well. Like take a few snippets of kind of like what people said they learned.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
it.
All right, y'all. Well, have a good rest of the night. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
You too. Thank you, team. Bye
Thank you,
for
team.
now. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.